Hey guys, it's Goldie. So I'm here to do the 10 Grumpy Witchy questions. So I'm going to dive into it because I accidentally did like halfway through and then, yeah, screwed it up. So this is round 2. Excuse me while there we go. Alright, what is your least favorite time of the year magically? Um, Least favorite is has definitely been summer. Although I guess okay, not to get like way into it, but I guess it's when I go into a magical rut, and um, I'm more active in the cooler months because it gets super hot here in Texas, and um, I just like I don't know. There's not a whole lot to forage for. There's not a whole lot going on as far as like um, things that connect me with my practice during the summertime. But like fall and winter are huge, obviously with all the celebrations going on. I mean, there's some in the summer too. Like, I mean, the summer solstice is awesome. So I get like kind of charged up for around then. And, but it's definitely like my least active time of the year. Um, is there an herb that you don't like working with? Never seems to work in any of your practice. So I'm going to do number 2 and number 3 together because the answer applies to both of them. Number 4 is uh, no, number 2 and 3. And number 3 is there a stone or crystal that you don't like working with or never seems to add anything to your practice? So the answer for both of those is not really, because how everything works in my practice is that I don't bring anything into it unless it calls out to me. So if it's an herb or a crystal, like usually I'm either out and about, you know, whether it's a store uh, or play whatever, you know. And with the herbs, it's like smell them and taste them, and obviously if they're being sold in the store and stuff like that, they're not most likely poisonous. So don't go tasting like something poisonous or whatever. But usually, any herbs that I'm using in my practice are things that I'm going to ingest, that I would be able to ingest as well. I don't carry like poisonous herbs around because I have kids and like they won't know any better. So it's just trouble. um, but and then as far as I mean, so um, I'm drawn having to be drawn to them is the first thing, and then with crystals, it's the same way. Like I've never been one to want to know what every crystal was. Like I love crystals. I love checking them out, going to crystal shops and stuff. But I'm not gonna check out a crystal unless or a stone unless it like I see it and like it literally like yells out at me like look over here, find out what I am and take me home. so so yeah. So it says doesn't add anything to your practice. I don't add anything that doesn't add something to my practice. So I'm never trying to force anything just because it's like trending or somebody else has it or whatever. Unless I'm like super called to to mess with it. So, is there anything that bothers you about your deity and or your practice? Um, so, about my deity, I have 3 deities that I work with. It's Venus, Hecate, and Dionysus. And Hecate and Dionysus is new, um, and Hecate has only brought amazing things into my life. And along with Venus, I don't really have any issues with her as well. But I do have some issues about how she's been like really narrowed down because of the depictions and stories and stuff, like, she is always, I guess, like, associated with youth, because of, like, the whole, I don't know, the whole sexuality thing of it, and of her, and, like, stories of her and stuff is always, like, associated with, like, the maiden or the mother, and like, the crone's just kind of like, she's not for you, that's how it comes off to me, at least. And I really think that's unfortunate, because I don't think sexuality and beauty and all these things that she encompasses should be limited to somebody who's of this age group. And so that's one thing that bothers me about the depiction of her and how she's been written about and portrayed and stuff like that. Because I take all that kind of stuff with a grain of salt. It's like how I view my deities may be completely different than how someone else may view them. And it doesn't mean that, like, I'm right and they're wrong, or they're right and I'm wrong. It's just different. And, it's good to get other people's opinions and point of views, but none of that is fact, and so you got to work with your own deities to figure out how they feel to you. It's like, don't just, like, read what's in a book and then be like, oh, that's them, because, like, you may, it may be all wrong to you. Anyway. So, and my practice. So with my practice, let's see. As far as things that bother me in my practice, things don't really bother me in my practice so much as, like, I think sometimes I get a little, like, overzealous and, excited about, like, a holiday or, like, a ritual that I planned out, and, like, I put up, like, this big picture of what I want to do in my head, and then, like, the day goes on weird, and I don't have the things that I wanted to have. It doesn't go as planned in my head, and I don't so much now, because I've, like, evolved with my practice a little more, to where I give myself more slack when it comes to that kind of stuff, and try not to, like, beat myself up over it, that, oh, it didn't work out that way, so I'm gonna just, like, not gonna do it and pout. But yeah, that was what pretty much would happen. And it's like, oh, well, I didn't want to do it this way, or, I wanted to do it under, the open sky, and, it rained, and now I don't want to go outside, or it's late and I'm tired and I don't want to do this anymore, and like, I don't know, stuff like that. Like, I try not to, like, limit myself now on my own ideas, because it would, like, kind of I would discourage myself by not doing it exactly how I wanted it to be done in my head. Number 5 is, sorry, it's so bright out here. The sun changed, and, like, now it's, like, hard to see my screen. What do you do when a spell doesn't work? So there's a few things that you have to think about when it comes to a spell. One, do you need to give it more time? These are things I've had to come up with, because, things have either not worked, or taken longer than I wanted them to. And so anyway, think about, do you need to give it more time? It may not happen right away. Give it a few weeks. See if other things need to come into alignment for it to happen, whatever it is. So, like, when my husband and I were buying our house, we were pretty much like supposed to be destined not to get it because where we live, it's a hot market, and pretty much tons of investors are coming in and buying up all the houses, flipping them, and then like upping the price. And so the house we got is an older house, and there were like 4 cash offers on it, and we're not in that position to make any cash offer at all. It's like I got $20 in my pocket, kind of cash offer. And so I did spell work and ritual work at the house location and away as well or whatever, and did a road opener spell, and we were told you didn't get the house. These people bought it. They went with them. Like, that's it. I was super bummed. I was just like to the point where I was like questioning like myself and like everything. I was just so bummed because it was so perfect for us. And then a week passed, and we got a call, and the people had pulled out, and all the other offers had pulled out, and they wanted to offer us less than what we had initially gone into. So it was just amazing, and it was a huge learning lesson for me because I was like, you know what, sometimes you just have to give it more time. I'm going to move this. I think y'all can't see me. Sorry. All right. So yeah, give it time, and then also a part of it is like you can't just do a ritual or a spell and then go sit in your butt and do nothing else. It's like if you do a money spell, then you need to, get up and put out resume and apply for jobs and stuff, and put forth the work to find a job to get money, or whatever the deal is. And then also think about was it really wise for you to do this spell or ritual? It's like, were you doing, like, say if you were doing like an attraction spell, or what was the other one I was thinking of? Like an attraction spell, and like you wanted somebody that you knew to come, to be with you or whatever. And it's like maybe that wasn't like the best thing to do, because what if they're a total jerk? And it's like you got to think about, is it really just your gods and goddesses like watching out for you and not putting you into harm's way, So, but I mean, it's always, it's understandable if you get bummed out about it, and I think most people do. I have in the past. And like journal about it, write about it, really think about it and see if it was something that either needed to be critiqued and altered and redone or whatever, or if it's something that you shouldn't have, shouldn't be coming into your life in the first place. So, okay, number 6. Have you ever done a meditation or astral work that did nothing for you? Definitely meditation. That's done nothing for me. I started meditating when I was like 11 years old through one of my mom's friends, and I was a really, really sad kid, and so she encouraged me to like meditate and stuff. And she gave me some CDs, and it only made me fall asleep. And it wasn't until like my mid-teens that I found some meditation methods that helped me. But and then like I've pretty much like stuck to those those types. And yeah, there's a lot of ways of meditation that didn't work for me at all. And as far as astral work, kind of like the same thing. Astral work and meditation are very like, you know, half siblings. You know, for me, there's a lot of astral projection and that goes along in my meditation. So, is there an element that just doesn't work for you? No. 8. How do you get out of a witchy rut? Pretty much, I just like let myself be in a witchy rut. You know, I know that it's going to come around eventually. When I was pregnant with my second child, I was in a huge witchy rut, and I think I bought a couple books at the time because I'm always on the search for them, like on eBay. I like finding stuff that's not like everywhere, you know. So I bought some books during that time, but I didn't do any magical work. In fact, I mean, it was a good year and a half that I didn't do anything, and I, you know, I was actually kind of concerned. I was like, I just got like really comfortable with like my practice and feeling good about it and getting into it, and then it's like been like nothing for like a year and a half, and so just like let it. I don't know. I just like ride out the wave, you know. It's like it'll come back around, and sometimes you need it, you know. It's like don't force anything. Just like don't worry about it, you know. Um, how do you deal with life getting in the way of your practice? That's just going to happen. There's no getting around that. You have to be more flexible, you know, and or that's how I've come. Like you're just going to like piss you off and make you resentful and put you in a bad mood all the time, and like your friends and family are, you know, in work are, you know, not going to appreciate your bad attitude and, you know, feel like they're like cumbersome and in the way. So it's like be more flexible to it and know that life is what's important, you know, and all the rest will, you know, you'll make time for it, you know, and it's more important to spend time with your family than it is to like, in my view, more important to spend time with your family than it is to spend time laying out a ritual or spending time in your altar space because, you know, this is temporary. You know, where we are in our lives is temporary. You know, my kids are only going to be, you know, wanting to stay around me for, you know, a few years of my life. You know, it's my parents, you know, I'm not going to have them my entire life. And so it's more important to me to spend time with them and, you know, do downsized rituals and have that time. Sorry, it's like really windy. Have that time to do all my practice when I can sneak it in. But if like, you know, if life's getting in the way, just it's gonna get in the way, you know. Appreciate that your life is filled with things, I guess. Try and flip the positive. But you know, as far as like if you feel like life's getting in the way as far as like your work or you don't have enough time, you know, like sit down and really like think about your time, you know. It's like, you know, I don't have a whole lot of extra time and with family, and even though like most of my time is spent as a stay-at-home mom, and then I have like a small business and on the side and stuff, and you know, sometimes like my practice is in between like nap time or I'm doing a video and you know, everyone's like kind of doing their own thing. I just take a moment to rush off for a moment and you know, or instead of doing a ritual by myself and like, you know, wanting it to just be like my time and my space, you know, it's like I have to, you know, like, all right, kids, like this is it, let's do it, you know, and bring them in and let them be a part of it too. Um, let's see. All right, last one. when you have all these negative feelings about your practice, what do you do? Kind of like with the whole rut thing, just like uh, journal about it, you know, wait it out. Try and, I don't know, like do, you know, if you're into like divination in any way, like, you know, bring out your cards if you use Oracle or Tarot or any other divinatory practice. Meditate on it. You know, it's like really, if you're unhappy with it, no matter what it is, you know, take the time to really explore that and write about it and see where it takes you. And yeah, anyway, so that's it. All right, I'm done. All right, well, that was a lot longer than I expected, but I hope y'all enjoyed it. And don't forget to like and subscribe and all that good stuff that you do on YouTube. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Stop.